everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Hey, I saw some things the other day, some videos the other day. Some guys had put some of their most carried knives for 2024, and I got to thinking about it. Some of them had 5 knives most carried or whatever. Y'all, I don't think I can narrow it down to that many. Okay? But let me say this. Prior to starting the channel, I've had a few knives, probably, I don't know, I've had several knives for a long time. But probably the first 4 or 5 months of 2024, the first knives I'm going to show you right here are probably the ones that were in my pocket the very, very most. The first one I've shown on the channel before, I know for sure, because it is a knife that I bought to replace one that I had lost somewhere over the years. And it was one that my dad bought me when I was in high school. I was probably, I'm going to say probably a sophomore in high school. Probably. So that would have been 79, something like that. 79, 80, maybe 81. Yeah, somewhere in that neighborhood. Anyway, this is the knife that I bought to replace it. But it's from the exact same time frame this knife is. This is a Buck 301 large stockman. And if you go back and watch the video I made on this, it'll tell you the whole story, all about it, all that. But anyway, that one got a bunch of pocket time back the first of the year. This one got a whole bunch of pocket time the first of the year. And I have had a yellow Delrin, yellow synthetic, whatever you want to call it, trapper. Not this one, because I lost one I had. But I've had one of them since probably early 90s that I've carried quite a bit. I lost the other one. I bought this one. I've carried it a bunch. But this one got carbon blades, CV blades. See, it's got some tiner on it. But these things will get razor sharp. And this one is sharp. That's one thing I pretty much do, y'all. I keep them sharp. I don't like a knife. If it gets dull, you better believe that I'm going to get in here in this man cave and I'm going to sharpen it. And I'm going to show y'all a sharpen video sometime. I freehand sharpen and everything. Been doing it for a lot of years now. But I have always, like most of y'all probably, have used that type of sharpening stuff forever. Right? Well, I saw something on Celebrating Appalachia. And Matt on there showed some of these. These are DMT diamond stones. I'm going to buy me some big ones. And I'm going to buy me some that doesn't have the interrupted surface. I like these a lot. And they will sharpen a knife right now. And I've got a couple of different ones, different grit. And they will get a knife razor blade sharp. They really will. I'm going to get some bigger ones, that are more of a desk type sharpening. I just think you got more control. I really do. But I have sharpened by hand forever. Anyway, y'all. Those two knives probably got more pocket time than any, the first 4 or 5 months of the year. This one got a bunch too. This one's got a bunch over the last 3 or 4 years since my dad passed away and my stepmom gave me a bunch of knives that he had. And if you go back and watch a video, I got a video on this one. This one was actually our neighbors that live right next to my dad down there in South Carolina. And he had passed away a few years ago. Anyway, my dad and my stepmom were over helping his wife. And my dad saw this knife. And it was all rusted up and it was in bad shape. And Daddy asked his neighbor about it or whatever. She said, you can just have it. So Daddy brought it and cleaned it up. But this one is this is the real deal. That's a 1970. That's a 10 dot. And this is a moose, y'all. And this joker right here is beyond razor blade sharp. This thing is crazy, wicked, wicked sharp. But you see, Daddy's neighbor, Mr. Tom. Mr. Tom carried this thing, and this is real pocket worn. I would probably call that red bone, because it's about as red as any I've ever seen. But it is true pocket worn. Mr. Tom carried this thing to work for years and years. See, it's got that case oval shield in it. It is a 6275. That's the model number. SP. 6275 SP. And that's because it's got that spade blade. But that is a great knife. I carried that one quite a bit to church. A lot to church. Anyway, y'all. I started carrying some other knives throughout from about May on. I started getting some more knives and trying out some different knives. And if you saw, Miss Jenny bought me that one back early summer. I carried it quite a bit. It's carbon. It's a mini trapper. It's got teeners going on. But it's a carbon with a Wharncliffe blade. Carried it quite a bit. Carried that little mini trapper quite a bit. Y'all, I can't pick 5 knives. Anyway, I carried this one a lot. From about January through the summer, I carried this one. It was a Christmas present last year from my granddaughter's boyfriend. And it is a Kaiser Gemini. It's got N690 blade steel. I know some people have had some bad luck with some Kaisers lately. This one right here is a very good knife. It is, the action on it is like buttery smooth. It's a great knife. I have mainly used it to open boxes at work and that kind of thing, but I carried it for probably 6 months every day. Never had 1 second's problem out of it. And you can even see that micarta handles, you can see that they're worn, because I've had it in my pocket a bunch. See where it's worn there? And I haven't had 1 second's problem out of it. All right, I carried that one a bunch. And then I got this little knife, and I started carrying it to church a lot. And this is a little Tony Bose K's collaboration swayback Wharncliffe blade. I'm liking that Wharncliffe, y'all. But that's an old red bone Wharncliffe swayback. And that's a cool little knife. That's a cool little knife. If I was going to a funeral, or like I told you, going to church, going out on a date with Miss Jenny, if we were getting a little spiffied up, that's a perfect knife to drop in the pocket, y'all. Perfect knife. All right. Well then, the 127 yard sale in August, I picked this one up, and I carried it. I carried it for a month or two. That's that Western Raccoon. The what's the number on it? Oh Lord, I can't even see it. Hang on a minute, y'all. Let me get a look right here. I think it's a S693. That's what it looks like. S693. It's got a D on it. I think that means 1980. If Big J watches this, he can comment because he knows all them Western dates. I'm pretty sure it's 1980. But the blade etch and everything on this thing, it was a little bit dirty when I got it. You can go back and watch that video. I don't know if I showed it dirty before I cleaned it up, but man, it cleaned up good. And that's a great knife, y'all. That's a Western. It's actually like a single blade trapper type knife, but it has a lock, has a liner tap lock. I don't know if you can see it there. Yeah, you can see it. It says press. That brass comes over and locks that blade. Just push the brass over. The knife will close. And it's got plenty of snap and all that, y'all. Good knife. Picked it up for the right price on that 127 yard sale. I carried it quite a bit. And of course, when these come out, I got one of them. I carried it quite a bit. Cut a bunch of tape on boxes and all that kind of stuff with it. Never had 1 second problem out of it. For 10 bucks, hard to beat. Great knife for $10, in my opinion. And these come out, and that's the one they're calling the Storm Trooper. That's the one that was white. And that's actually a white piece of paracord. And I threw it in the same dye as I did the scales, which is RIT. Let me see, it's right here. There it is, Royal Blue, RIT. I took the scales off of this thing, put it in an old cottage cheese container, filled that cottage cheese container up enough to cover the scales, threw the scales in there and left them all night. Got them out the next day. That's what they look like. Dyed it pretty good. Threw a piece of white paracord in that RIT dye. It turned out blue. So, anyway, carried this one quite a bit. And I still carry this one some. That little sucker right there, that's a $5 knife. But that sucker will get crazy sharp, especially for a $5 knife. I know the steel ain't that great. Stainless steel, whatever. Anyway, then at the end of the year, y'all, you know what happened. Miss Jenny got me that one for my birthday, that copper lock. I got my slip from Mr. John over at J.O. Ventures. Gunslinger Cal sent me that knife. That's a trapper. That copper lock and that trapper has been in my pocket a bunch since right before, well, right about Christmas when I got those two knives. Anyway, I traded them out this week, so we got some more. That if you saw my short, you saw what I was carrying. I got that black rough synthetic trapper from Mr. Bill at Bill's Sharper Deals, and I started carrying the white natural bone copper lock with a Warncliffe blade that Miss Jenny got me for Christmas. But anyway, y'all, I couldn't put 5 on here. I carried way more than 5, and I probably carry 5 every day, because I've been carrying this one right here. Let me show y'all. I'm carrying it like in a scalp carry because I put the tech lock on it like that. See? Been carrying that one on my belt. And that's an Azula. That's a SE Azula. Azula 2. And it's sharp. It's sharp, sharp. I showed y'all them little diamond stones a minute ago. But that right there is what I put the finishing edges on them, y'all. And I put a new piece of leather on here. This is actually a piece of a leather belt. It's actually a pretty wide, like work belt, like used for a nail apron or something like that. And it's pretty rough on this side, but put some compound on this side. Leave that side dry. That's the slick side. That's the rougher side. And I'll tell y'all something else too. When that compound gets ground in there like that, you can take a knife that's got a pretty well 90-degree spine and scrape. See that stuff right there? That is that old compound, and you just scrape it out of there. And I'll show you in a minute. See all that garbage comes off there, y'all? And there's a bunch more on the desk here. Pick it up in my hand and show you. I'll see all that junk. That's that old compound that comes off of that strop. But you need to scrape that off once in a while. Apply you some new compound. And that thing, that strop will put an absolute, if you get one sharp with a diamond stone or whatever, just a regular stone or whatever, and then you put them on that strop, they're gonna get crazy sharp. Okay, anyway, y'all, I just wanted to jump on here and just do one just about the knives that I carried last year. Who knows what this year will bring? I'm sure that I'll have some new ones here and there, but some of these old favorites are probably going to make it in the pocket for a while too, because it's some of them I really like. I love that old 1970 Moose. That's a good knife. I don't carry it too much because I don't want to lose it or nothing like that, but I will carry it to church and that kind of stuff. That's a great knife, and like I said, it is scary sharp. Anyway, y'all, thank you for watching. I appreciate you. Appreciate your likes and comments, and until we see y'all again, y'all have a great weekend. Y'all have a great week. And God bless every one of you. Thank you.